Hello, welcome to Sparkle and Chill. It's been a couple of weeks. Things have been a little crazy. I welcome everybody who's new and anybody that's been watching my videos for the last few months. Welcome back. I guess I didn't get this plugged in, did I? Let's get it plugged in. I've been using this little overhead light instead of the, oh, that's a little bit brighter than I want it to be. Okay, let's see. Is that going to be too much of a glare? Okay. All right, I think that's going to work. Sorry about that. I thought I was all ready and I wasn't. So a lot has taken place in the last couple weeks. I started a new job, and that's been really great. And then I found a home for the 5 birds. I loved them dearly. They were so good, but we had an issue come up in my apartment complex, and they were going to be exterminating for bugs. And I was like, lovely. I'm like, well, that'll kill my birds. And so I didn't have much time to really think. And I'm going to be moving probably in the spring. I was thinking sooner, and then I'm like, it really doesn't make any sense whatsoever to try to move right now. Starting a new job, and I talked with a friend, and we were like, really, you should just stay put for a few months, get your job going, and then move. But I kind of want to get out of here because, well, they're exterminating the building for a reason. So there's that. But I just thought it would be too stressful to do right now. But I did get the birds moved. They found a nice home with some nice people who will take good care of them. And it's sad in ways, but honestly, when I didn't get I got the birds way before I started doing this channel, and it was almost impossible to do the channel unless I went into my room and hid. And even then, you could sometimes hear them because they're quite loud. And for some reason, I don't know if I was imagining it or not, but they just seemed to be getting louder and louder. And I just was like, I think, with the situation, what it was, I needed to get them out of harm's way and get them to a home where, people would love them and take care of them. And I was really fortunate because I really wanted to keep them together, because they're a sweet little flock. They all love each other. They all get along. And I didn't really want to split that up. I had created this little flock, and I just wanted them to stay together. And I happened to find people who wanted to take all 5 of them, which was a miracle, because I was thinking I'm going to have to split them up, send them to different homes, and, I didn't really want to do that. And it was really, really great to be able to find people that were willing to take them. And then, so I'll tell you the story. It was so crazy. So I didn't really think about how I was going to do it, because they're not hand tame. They're not. I had a bird named Bailey years ago who used to just come right to me, and I could get him in and out of the cage. And he was, and even when I had my parakeets before, they were trained to where they would get on a perch, and I could get them back in the cage. But these guys, I never could get them trained. I tried and I tried, but I didn't have the time. And so I just resigned to the fact that they were just going to be for my enjoyment to watch, and they're fun to watch. But they didn't want anything to do with me. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to move. There's all these things I got to do I was just like, I don't think I can do it that way. So anyway, so I had like on the weekend, I found somebody willing to take them before the exterminators are going to come. And then, and then they came to come pick them up, and I hadn't been able to get them to go into the little cage for them to be transferred. So it literally took 2 hours of trying to catch all of them one by one, letting them out of the cage so that I could catch them outside of the cage, because I tried to do it in the cage and that just was not working. They were getting too scared and bumping into things. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess if we let them out, we let one of them got out by mistake, and then I was able to catch him, and I'm like, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. And we let one out at a time, and then I was able to catch them. Well, Honey decided to be really difficult. Honey got out, and somehow, because I had the lights down low, somehow he had gotten himself, he flew over into the dining room, which he doesn't do very often, and he fell behind a shelf, which, if you know anything about birds, if they get somewhere where they can't flap their wings, they're not going to be able to get out. And I couldn't get to him, but I have this little shelf that's got a basket on it. And it was right there, and we were looking for him, and finally the person that came to pick him up found where he was. We had the flashlight out, and then I turned the lights up a little bit, and then I was able to get to that little drawer, and he happened to have climbed up on it, thankfully. And I was able to, and then I pulled the basket out, and he flew back to the cage, which is perfect. Then I was able to throw the little towel over him, over the top of the cage, and eventually we were able to get him. But it took 2 hours to catch 5 birds. At one point, I think the guy was ready to leave, and I was like, no, I can't have you leave. I need you to take these birds, because I was really scared of them dying and me not having any place. I went to the bird shop earlier in the week to find out, could they help me with rehoming them, or at least keeping them for a few nights. They charge $50 a bird to rehome them for you. Go figure. They're going to make money on it. They're going to charge me $50. And she's like, well, I got to feed them until I get them. I'm like, it isn't going to cost you $50 to feed them. Anyways, so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll find him a home. And I placed an ad on Craigslist, and I placed it with, fee and I did that because I really wasn't, I didn't sell them. I gave them to the people. And granted, I've spent a lot of money on their equipment, but, I didn't want to make a profit on them. I wanted them to find a good home, but you put that on there so people looking for free things that aren't going to take care of them don't, answer the ad. I actually had a couple people answer, but most of them wanted to just take, 2, because I put in the ad that they had to go at least in 2s, and it would be 1 set of 2 and 1 set of 3, because I wasn't willing to separate them completely, if it came to that. But these guys were, fortunately, they were willing to take all of them, so I'm so thankful. And Kai, if you're listening, because I did tell about the diamond painting. I found out they did diamond painting too, because I saw this painting sitting out. So I was pretty happy to be able to find a good home where they're going to be loved. That's all that matters to me, is that they're going to be loved and cared for. But it was quite the ordeal. We got we weren't sure how, we tried to see if the big cage would fit in the back of his truck, but of course it was too big to fit in the back of this back seat, the double cab. So we had to get them removed into the little tiny cage, my little travel cage that I had for them. And that worked really well. I was thankful that he was patient enough with me while I got that all done, because oh my gosh, while we caught them. And because at one point he's like, well, maybe I'm gonna have to, and I'm like, no, you can't leave. So the birds are gone, and I have to say, as much as I miss them, because it is weird to get up in the morning and not hear their chatter, or on the weekend I didn't hear their chatter waking me up, because usually on the weekend they wake me up with their song. You know, they start talking. If I don't get up early enough, all of a sudden I hear them saying, get up and feed us, you lazy thing. Just kidding. But so that was my I think that's that one. I got a hitchhiker here. I'm going to put it in there because it doesn't fit that one. So long story short, after I told the long story, no more little birdies for me. And I think it's going to be good. I'm going to be moving, and as I was looking for places, I've been calling around, and a lot of them have pretty exorbitant pet deposits, even with birds that are like, you know, and so I was like, well, I can't afford the pet deposit or pet rent per animal with that, so I was like, well, I guess my bird days are over. So, that's that. And I do have to say, it has been a little easier to watch TV. Because it used to be I'd turn the TV on and all of a sudden they would get louder, and it was quite frustrating. If you ever think you want birds, think about where you're going to keep them and how it's going to change, because they do all have their own little personalities, and they were a lot quieter till we got when I got Honey. It got a little louder, because Honey will get out of the cage and then he'll just squawk till the others come out out with him. He doesn't like to be out all by himself. He wants everybody to get out at the same time. So, and where he's at, they're going to have plenty of free roam time, and so I'm just really pleased with that. You know, I wanted people that were not going to just keep them in a cage and you know, not interact with them at all. That while they don't want to be held and that kind of thing, they do like attention and they do like to get out. And so that was important to me, that they would be allowed to do that. And they're really, most of the time, they just go right in their cage when it's time for bed. I mean, it's not like I had to catch them. That was the only time I've ever caught them in the whole 2 years I had them. I never have. That usually they just go back in. I let them out for a certain period of time and they stay out and play, and then they get hungry and they go back in, you know. But yeah, it was kind of a stressful evening. I was really worried about stressing them out too much, because not only did I stress them out there, but then they had to get in a car and go. The people that got them live out in Longview, which is a couple hours away. You know, it's a maybe not quite that long, maybe an hour and a half, depending on where in Longview, and I don't know their exact location. But they have a couple birds already, so they do know how to take care of them, and so that was good. That was what was important to me, was you know, finding them the right home. I wish I could have held on to them, but I was nervous about all that, and then the move, and I just started a new job where I'm working from home, which I've always worked from home for the last 5 years, but you know, it's just one of those things where it is already, you know, I can leave the bedroom door open. I'm not listening to loud squawking, and so that's actually been really good. I miss them, but I know that they're in a good place. I know that they're being taken care of, And so, you know, you deal with the fact that you miss having the noise in the house. Because I did like having the extra noise in the house, but I think, you know, it was, you know, I needed to be able to work. And then since I'd started the channel here, it had been really hard to do videos because I was having to do it around them and trying to, you know, put them to bed so I could do some videos out here. And now with my job literally taking up my desk in the bedroom, you know, there's just no, I just can't move everything every day to do my diamond painting. And so I think it's just going to be, it's going to be good. And I'm excited for what the future holds. I did start looking for apartments this weekend, and then my friend said to me, Kimberly, you just got a new job. You just, you know, you need to focus on your job and then in 6 months move. So I had to agree. That made the most sense than trying to move when you know, and be stressed out because then I'm packing and all that other stuff. So I'm going to spend the next few months decluttering and getting stuff to Goodwill and all that kind of good stuff. And then hopefully find a good place at probably around March, or yeah, maybe longer. So what is it? It's October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, March or April. Could be April. Just is going to depend on how things go. But I don't want to sabotage myself at work by, you know, being stressed out about moving. And if I wait till then, I can save up the money and very easily pay movers and all that stuff. So I won't really have to do as much. Just pack the stuff up. And even if I'm, you know, and if I'm having a hard time with that, I could even pay people to pack up, you know, certain areas. So that will be a big thing. As I've gotten older, it's harder to do those things, you know. It's harder to pack and move and organize and all that. I did find the area where I want to move to when I move, I think, but we'll see. That could change too, depending on whether they have a unit available or you know, anything by the time I'm ready to go. But it's gotten so expensive. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy to me how much it costs to live these days. So that's what I've been up to, and I haven't done any. I've been working on this at night, the last few nights, just to kind of relax after working, because it's, you know, new job, and it's a great new job. I'm enjoying it. It's just that it takes, you know, when you're learning new things, by the end of the day, your brain is mush. My brain's mush anyways. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I start a new job, and though I understand this job, I've done this kind of work for the last 5 years. Well, actually, the last year I was doing something else, but I've done this work for 5 years. So I understand how to do it, but every company does things a little bit differently, and they do it a lot differently, which I'm actually really liking. I think it's going to be much better than the way I learned traditionally how to do my job. So I'm excited about that, because sometimes change is really good, you know. Learning a new way to do something and do it better and more efficiently. Where did that go? I was just there. Okay, there we are. And that to me is really really fun. And I did really good this last week. And I'm starting on the second full week on the phones, which is nice. I've been kind of put in slowly so that I'm not overwhelmed. it sort of worked. I'm not as overwhelmed as I would be if they just said, okay, see, go get it done. But I've been fortunate and have people that are kind that I'm working with that really understand the job and have just been very welcoming to me, which is really nice. And everybody's been really kind and helpful, and when I've had a problem and didn't know how to do something, I've been able to reach out to a couple different people besides the boss when he was busy. And it's interesting being trained on a new job, from another state where you're doing everything by the phone. It makes it, interesting as to how things work. Okay. I'm seeing all the ones I missed when I did certain colors. This is coming out really good. This is just a budget kit from Amazon. I started it at the same time I started my potted succulents. So I started it a day, I think, before I started potted succulents. Then I started this one, and I was like, okay, well, I wanted to work on a square and a round at the same time. I was thinking I was going to do the Frosty the Snowman next, but I don't know yet. I've picked up a few different kits over the last several months. I haven't shown all of them and I don't think I'm gonna do like a ton of unboxings and stuff like that. I started thinking about it the other day. I've got a bunch of kits that I haven't shown yet. And I've decided, because I kind of got caught up in the whole, buy kind of thing that I was, I'd watch videos of other people, and then I was feeling like, I got to do what they're doing and, be able to have, kits to show. And that's true to a point. You do have to have stuff to show, but I have enough things that I have purchased over the last year, 2 years, because I've been diamond painting since May of 2023. And so there's a lot that I haven't shown. I have a lot of budget kits, and I've recently gotten several, premium kits. And I think I'm gonna, just put that on hold. I did order 2 kits on the release because there was one that I really wanted for a gift for a friend. And after I did that, I'm like, okay, we are done until we get some of these done, because it's just silly to keep buying without having done the ones I am. And I'm going to be moving, so what I don't do, I have to move. Well, I have to move them either way, right? But I'm just trying to be responsible with my money. That, and I talked with a friend about, spending and whatnot, and decided that, having an allowance and putting everything else into savings for the next little while is what I'm going to do. And so I'm putting myself on a strict amount of money that I'm allowed to spend each month on just frivolous things, things that I don't necessarily need but want, and then just socking the rest of my money away so that when I do decide to move and when I decide to retire, there's money there. So when I move, I want to be able to pay movers, move into the apartment without the stress of, oh no, I got to spend this much money for deposits and all that stuff, right? Because, there's going to be deposits, and it's usually like 2 times your rent and all that kind of stuff. I've got a bunch in here that are not the right color. Let's move them out. Okay. All right. So, so that's what I'm going to do. What do you guys think of that? I mean, I just really want to, you know, start having a little more self-control. Part of, I think, my spending, when I was working the last job I had, I was making a little more money than I normally did, and I knew that job wasn't going to last because I wasn't doing very well. And I didn't like the job, so I knew I wasn't going to be there much, you know, for very long. I was hanging on by a thread for several months, kind of going, well, I know this is going to end. It's going to end soon. It just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. Therefore, I wasn't doing well. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It was just the business model. I had done that work for, gosh, I did it for 15 years. But the whole way it works anymore these days is completely different than it used to be. And so, oops, and then I just saw another one. So I was like, you know, well, if it's completely changed, where did that go? I just saw another one. There it is. I decided, you know, I need to be doing something that I enjoy doing. Don't y'all agree? When you have a job where you enjoy what you do, it's just so much better. Getting out of bed is easy. Getting up, you're not like, oh, I don't want to get up. Are any of you guys like that? That used to be my morning. Every morning I was like, oh, I gotta get up and go to work. And I hated that because for years I had worked as a nanny and I loved going to work. I really did. And people are like, you know, people don't always understand, but I loved going to work because my job loved me back, you know. The kids loved me. Sometimes the parents could be difficult. Not always. I had really good parents I worked for, but there were times I had parents that were more difficult to work for than others. But for the most part, I just found 2 more of the ones I just finished. For the most part, it was really good. And I loved the kids and they loved me, and it was just nice. I mean, how often you get to go to work and, you know. But then I went into sales and things changed, you know, and sometimes work was fun and sometimes it just wasn't. So I'm back where it's fun and I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping that we get a good long run and continue enjoying it. Because, I mean, you got to do something for 40 hours a week. You ought to like it. I mean, you don't always. Sometimes you just got to have a job, right? But if you can help it, liking it is far better than not liking it, right? My dad used to say, find something you like to do and you'll never work a day in your life. And I found that to be true in so many ways, because when you're working at something that you enjoy, you could do it a long time. It's kind of like diamond painting, you know, some people are like, how can you sit there sticking little dots on pieces? I mean, you know, this is a pretty simple, one of the things I love about diamond painting is it's pretty simple, you know, there's nothing rocket science about diamond painting. If you can use a little pin and stick a little dot onto some glue on some paper, you can make pretty art. I think that's what I like about it. I used to quilt for many, many years. I quilted, gosh, since college. And I just really stopped when I moved into this apartment because there's no room. There's no room here for it. And getting everything out and then having to put it all away, and it just got to be a lot, you know, and so I stopped doing it, mostly when I got sick. When I got sick, I stopped doing it because I just didn't have the energy. And I lived here, so it was harder to get things out. But when I moved here to this apartment, so for those of you that don't know, not that everybody needs to know, but I have had two run-ins with cancer, and the first one started like 6 months after I moved into this apartment. And I wasn't even completely moved in. I mean, I was moved in, but I hadn't unpacked boxes. I couldn't figure out why I was so tired all the time. And then turned out I was sick and had surgery and all that kind of stuff. And so I never really got back to it. And then I found diamond painting. I got sick the second time. And I found diamond painting, and it was so much nicer because, you know, you get out one thing, you kit it up, and then you've got, you know, you can sit and work on it for hours, or you can work on it for 15 minutes and, you know, there's no real mess, you know. And I loved that about it. It's just like, oh, all I have to do. So I just keep my little diamond painting corner with, you know, all my stuff, and my diamond paintings don't really get put away unless, because I'm usually, now I've got to figure it out now with really not being able to use the desk in my room for anything but that. I thought about, I was going to move the furniture around and move the TV to where I could watch on the couch again, because it's kind of in a weird place now, so it's not easy to lay down and watch TV, but I was thinking about it. Right now my desk is overrun with my work, and so there's not even room for my computer, my personal computer. There just isn't room for it. So I was thinking, you know, instead of moving the TV and all that stuff around, which would, you know, take a little doing anyway, I could just move my, I have another little desk just like this one. I bought two of them because I was going to put them side by side, and there wasn't space to do that. I was going to put two side by side right here, but it doesn't work. I thought I could set up the other one where the bird cages were, because I had two great big huge bird cages, and set up my computer there, and then I've got a spot. Or I could move the TV like I planned and put that, and then put the other desk on the other side of this one and have two desks side by side. And that might be the better idea. But I'm going to figure it out this weekend. Because I do want to be able to use my personal computer. And there's not enough ways to plug it in the bedroom with the work stuff. And then my hope is when I get moved, either I get a 2-bedroom or I find a place with a much bigger, kind of separate, closed-off dining room. The apartment I looked at this weekend had that. It was really nice. It had a dining room that was next to the kitchen, and that was pretty separate from the living room. It wasn't like the open floor plan that I have now, which I've technically really liked open floor plan, but I'm thinking for logistical reasons, it would be really good to have it not be open, because then it can be used as an office space. And I could put my office and my painting stuff there so that it doesn't have to be in my room. Anyways, those are just my thoughts. I know I'm just kind of rambling on. But, so I don't know. I think that's a good idea, but we'll see what happens this weekend when I get working on it. I really got to declutter. This place has gotten really cluttery, and it is good now with the birds gone. I've got to do some cleaning, and I started doing that over the weekend. So the birds went on Wednesday night, and so that was good. And so now I've just got to work on getting the apartment set up right. It's a really small apartment that I'm in. And all the apartments I looked at were at least 200 to 300 square feet bigger, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really a lot. It allows for things that you can't have, you know. But I saw one apartment that I was looking at it, and it was only 100 square feet bigger than this, and it was a 2-bedroom. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's big enough for a 2-bedroom. Because I've got a queen-size bed, so that would be really difficult. So anyways, I know I've just been rambling on, but I haven't really discussed this with many people. Been working and all that, and it's kind of nice to, but so I've got a lot of kits that I'm going to be able to do unboxings on, or at least show you them. A lot of them have already been unboxed as far as where they came from, but I bought some of the DAC kits during the 20% off sale that they had, and so I'm excited to show those. And I yeah, that's the most. And then I did get some Christmas things from Make Market a few weeks ago. And then I found, so here where I live, we haven't had a Hobby Lobby. I mean, I guess it's been here for a while and I didn't know. But I had never been into a Hobby Lobby. I was kind of surprised when I went. Of those of you that have gone shopping there, isn't it surprising the kinds of stuff that they sell? I was really surprised. I was thinking it was going to be a hobby shop. Like back in the day when you went to a hobby shop, they sold things like, you know, craft things like what we'd be looking for, and like model airplanes, and I didn't look far enough to know if they do, but I remember going and looking at model cars and that kind of stuff at hobby shops. But this had all kinds of like home decor, and it was really strange to me. I looked specifically for the diamond painting because I wanted to look at kits from there to look at the quality and whatnot. I'm trying to find things that people can find, you know, in their neighborhood. Because, like, yes, everybody can order on Amazon, and sometimes it's cheaper than going their kits, but you can't look at them beforehand. You can't touch them. You can't, you know. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those, I want to touch it before I buy it kind of thing. I know that's kind of weird, but it's nice to be able to look at the box, look at the, you know, read on the box, you know, than just seeing it on a computer. And it is right. Okay, yeah. I found 2 more of these after I did it. My pin needs to be twisted. So I bought a couple of those, and they were really reasonable. They were like $4.99 for one, and $5.99 and $6.99. So I bought the smaller ones, and I did get one larger one that I think was a little bit more. But I didn't spend that much because I don't really know the quality of them yet. But I kind of got a little. So I've got some stuff to show. I didn't want to get into it tonight because I'm kind of. It's only Monday. I'm already tired. Can you believe that? It's Monday. In October, I don't know where October has gone. It's already, you know, late in the month. I can't even believe it. I don't do the whole Halloween thing. I used to years ago when I was a kid, and then this goes against some of my values, all the scary stuff and whatnot, you know. And so I stopped. I don't mind people with cutesy stuff, but all this scary stuff is just not necessary, and I kind of don't want any part of that. So I don't really celebrate Halloween. So it's been, I'm kind of happy that it's coming to a close, that we're gonna get to be done with the whole Halloween extravaganza of things, because I'm tired of seeing ghouls and goblins. I want to see cute. I can't wait for Christmas. I love Christmas, so I'm gonna really have fun. I tried to do Christmas in July, and I failed because I couldn't really get into Christmas in July. It just wasn't time. It was too early. So, but I got Christmas stuff in July. So I already have my Christmas kits, and I got a couple of the ones I got from Make Market were Christmas. So, and I have Christmas coming out my ears. So I'm excited about that. And I may probably be starting them. I will be starting them after this. I think it's going to be Christmas paintings for a little while, because that's what I've got. Okay, so I've got a few. I think what I'm going to do, I've got little ones that got missed. That's the one thing about confetti is you miss some sometimes. Okay, so we have the number 6. I don't know why I pour so many out. Because there's only... Okay, where did that go? See, I had it in my... There it is. Okay, are there any more? See, I'll look and I won't see them, and then I'll put them away, and then they'll be there again. But I think what I want to do is turn off the lamp and turn on the light, because that will show me where they are. Okay, yes, see? Now it will show me where the ones are that I missed. Okay. I do like having this overhead light versus the oh my gosh. I do like having that overhead light. I think it's easier on the eyes than the light table, and it brightens up the room. The lighting in this place stinks. So I bought these overhead deals, and okay, so we need the star, which is number 4. I've got all these pieces that I missed. I do like the light for having them on the drills, but okay. All right, we're almost done with this. And it wasn't a full amount that I had to do. Tea and that little... Okay, there's only a couple more. This one's come together pretty fast. I know I did the succulents, and I wasn't really working on this for a little while, so I need to get better and start recording how much time things are taking me, because I haven't done that. I did with all intentions get my logbook, but then I haven't used it yet. Oh wait, okay, what one is equal sign is 15. So we'll do 15, because a few of those. And then there's some over there that I missed over here. So we might as well get them while we got them out. And so I hope you guys are doing well. And we're back on schedule. Hopefully we'll be able to get at least a couple videos a week out. That's my goal. And it is Monday night. I'm going to load this on tonight to go tomorrow morning. You do that so that I'm told, I don't know, does anybody really know how the algorithm works? But I'm told that if you give it, you know, some time once you upload everything, then the algorithm will send it out so more people see you. I don't know if that's right or not, right or wrong, but that's the way I've been doing it, so that hopefully it gets a chance to pick up what the description is and all of that good stuff. And, uh-oh. This is how I get hitchhikers. I just put them in the wrong dish. Okay, that one is this. See what happens when you miss them, then you gotta go back and find them all. Kind of makes me a little crazy. A little cray-cray. I thought I saw one. Yeah, there's just one. One right there. Oh, and one right there. Are there any over here? There's a few up here. Okay, I guess we're good there. So I only have a question mark and one of those little bracket things. Oh, and a plus sign. Oh my goodness. Okay, and now what's the plus sign? Is it 12? So I hope this has been entertaining and at least filled you in on where things are at and why I was missing. Things will get back to normal. And the good news is now it's not so noisy. I don't have to hide in another area of the house, and it's better out here anyways. And when I want to do things where I'm not actually talking, I can still have the peace of I don't know. Okay, where's that one? That's number 19. And then oh gosh, there's still a couple. There's a couple of those up there. Sometimes I just leave those if I've forgotten them up there for the next row, you know. But since I've got the color out, I might as well do them. But I have a star, a C, and a T. Oh. Doesn't want to cooperate. Where was that star? There it is. Star. A T, which is number 3. Actually, I don't even need to dump any out. There's one spilled right there. A T is a T, T, T. Where did you go? Was it a T? Okay, I see a question mark. Yeah. And a T right here. There's a couple up there, but I'm not going to worry about those right now. A question mark was number 2. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. A sneeze coming on. Okay. This was a question mark. Yep, question mark. And there's 2 of those. One there. Where's the other one? I know I saw another one. If I turn this up higher, it'll show. Nope, just a C. So there's only one C. There's a couple of T's up there, but I don't have. We're just gonna find the C, which is number 16's. And just need one. Just one. Did I just do that? I did. I just dropped my pen and I don't feel like getting down to go get it. So we will just do that. Ta-da! All right. Doesn't that look pretty? It's so sparkly. I'll get my pen here. You guys do this. You lose a pen and you gotta move it with your feet to where you can bend down to get it without killing your back. All right. Well, thank you guys for sitting with me and listening to my gab and tell you about what's been going on. And hopefully it didn't bore you too much. And look at this sparkle. Isn't that pretty? I love irises. They're so pretty. Anyways, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to see all the videos when they come out. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day. Bye now.